I'm Dan Fitzpatrick at StockMarketMentor.com on Monday, May 20th. And I want to look at JA Solar today. All the solar stocks were really screaming today. A lot of them really in response to this. The company announced better than expected earnings, but they also, and I think this is what has really kind of sparked this buying in the stock. They said that they're going to meet all their debt obligations. Not so with some of these other solar companies where they defaulted on their bonds. I don't know, color me crazy, but bondholders don't like it when companies say, thanks for the money that you loaned us, but we're not going to give it back to you. That tends to be a problem. So when JA Solar reaffirms that they are going to be making their debt obligations, they've got their outlook that they say, yeah, that's good too. They also focused on higher profit margins rather than volume, just like, oh, well, we're losing money, but you will make it up in volume. So they're focusing on profit margins, and they sold apparently more panels in Japan where it's a higher margin economy over there, just a higher margin business in Japan. And so their gross margins rose. The bottom line is the company is still losing money, but just not as bad. So you get this gap and run, and it was a nice trade if you got it. 70% kind of works. But let's talk about the trade itself and how we really manage this. First of all, just a little day trading stuff. If the stock gaps up like this, the stock gaps up so high, the first thing you got to do is ask why it is gapping up. Don't just say, ooh, a gap. Look and check the news if you're not watching it already, but know why the stock gaps up. And you'll see, okay, great earnings, at least relative to what the market was expecting. Now let's see if desks sell into those earnings, into this gap. They didn't. And so if you're just looking at the daily chart, it will scare you to death. Don't do that. Instead, you zoom in, look at a chart like this, and this actually looks like kind of a nice uptrend, doesn't it? So you see what the stock did back here. You see that it continued to trade higher than it did during the first 15 minutes of trading, and then the stock is off to the races and you're on your own. So what do we do now? Okay, again, 15-minute chart. This is really where new support lies. You won't see it in a daily chart. You really see like, oh, okay, well, no, I see 850 support. Dude, how are you going to see that? There's no way you can see that. You have to zoom in to a tighter time frame and then look and see where most of the trading action took place. It took place right around the $8 to $8.50 level. Finally, you got this breakout above $8.50, and then we get another $1.25 run. So if the stock pulls back to $8.50, and if we get a weekday tomorrow, you've seen stocks do this. Think Sohu, think Solar City, where a stock makes a run like this, and intraday it does pull back. And then it moves and starts and closes higher again. If this stock pulls back to 850, 860, something like that intraday, then this is a good buying opportunity for you because you can define your risk. You know you're not buying at the top, and then you just buy a select size such that you're going to take a small loss if the stock starts trading down and costing you money. So what about the upside? Well, the high of the day is 989. Okay, so you set your price alert at about 990. Now, where do you think resistance will be? My bet, right about 10 o'clock. But you want to know that the stock is hitting 990, very close to, well, it will be a new high for this stock in this time frame. So you want to know when it's hitting 990. Then you can watch how the stock trades as it tests 10 bucks. Because look at the move here. If this stock trades above 10 bucks, it could go appreciably higher. You zoom out to this time frame and you can see while this would get anybody's attention, it doesn't necessarily have to mark the top in this stock because look how long the base has been. I mean, this has been a prolonged base that goes clear back to the middle of last year. So JA Solar, I think, is a stock actually that you can buy on a breakout, or if it pulls back to 850 or so, that's also going to work for you. But once again, I got to tell you, I don't make predictions here. I make risk assessments, and the reason I'm saying that is because you have to make your own trade. A stock that goes up 70% is definitely worthy of attention, but it's also worthy of being very cautious. You got to give it a lot of respect. So I don't want you piling into this at 9.90. Then when it hits 10 bucks and then ultimately tanks to 7, it's okay if you blame me. I don't really care about that because that's kind of the position I put myself in. But if you do, you're not learning. You're only learning that Dan sucks. And that's okay too, but that's not going to help you make money. So instead, you want to be focusing on making your decisions, making your risk assessments. You use, the analysis that I provide, and I'm giving you the best ideas that I can. But you have to take that as just one more bit of research. Okay, I'm not the ultimate arbiter of stocks. I'm just one bit of research. Now you take that, you make your own decision, you make your own risk assessment, and you stand by your trade one way or another. And if you can learn to do that, you will find that you become a very good trader in a surprisingly short period of time. Okay, members, get over to the strategy session. I want to talk about some of the refiners, some of the other solar names, as well as a few other industry groups. So I'll see you there.